Hello everybody, it's Joe here and welcome back to my F122 My Team Career Mode campaign, and we are getting into the final few races of this season 2. If you haven't seen the last one from Monza, go back and check that one out before you check this one out. This is your last chance to do so before spoilers. It wasn't the best of races, but it was a good team race as Oscar Piastri got some solid points for 7th. We still finished P9 despite starting pretty far back, so we did gain some positions, but ultimately the pace just wasn't there in Monza. So let's try and get some of that momentum back that we had a few races ago. Like I said, we were knocking on the door of a win in France only to have it taken away from us with an engine failure, and in Belgium we were literally a couple of seconds away. So it is coming, we just need to work hard, keep the upgrades coming in, keep working and just push as hard as we can. So Q1 then, at the moment we are at risk just a little bit here, but our third lap even, got us through in P4 quite nicely, and Q2 again we got through nicely, and Oscar Piastri doing us proud as well, getting through into the top 10. Unfortunately, however, before Q3 were to begin, some inclement weather had arrived at Singapore, and as a result, I really struggled to get the lap together here. And yeah, mistakes were made, but I gave it everything I could, and as you can see through the last section, I'm trying to make sure I nail this lap together. It looks pretty good, but again, pretty good probably isn't good enough. We need to really nail this last sector together. Where are we going to qualify then for this Singapore Grand Prix? The answer is, at the moment it's P5, but it ends up becoming P9. And Oscar Piastri looking strong in 7th, and our championship leader Fernando Alonso also going strongly enough in the top 5. But no sign of his championship rival Charles Leclerc in the top 10. So at the thick end, it's definitely still staying interesting.
Here we go then, it's Formula One in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to all of you at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot but beautiful streets of Singapore. It's a 3.1 mile lap here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit with 47% taken at full throttle. It's hot, humid and bumpy around the 13 lefts and 10 rights of mostly slow corners, but we should see speeds of up to 200 miles per hour along the Raffles Boulevard. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon, and Joker, Russell, Vettel, and Carlos Sainz. Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and Drugovich. Stroll, Oscar Piastri. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Daniel Ticktum and Pierre Gasly. Perez, Tsunoda, Leclerc and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who is beside me in the commentary box today. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. And that may or may not play into some of the team's hands for today's race. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. But the question I'm asking is which teams have got it right and which teams have got it horribly wrong?
Well, unfortunately for Oscar, he has been hit with a grid penalty, so that's not good for us. Hopefully he can fight his way forward. In Season 1, don't forget, we had a teammate that fought his way forward into P9. I believe that was Liam Lawson. So, hopefully Oscar can do a similar thing here. We've moved up 2 places, though, thanks to the grid penalty. So we're now P7 on this grid for the Singapore Grand Prix. So what can we do from there? It's the absolute endurance fest ahead of us. It's lights out and away we go, and Lando Norris from pole position goes to cover off Max Verstappen, but Verstappen is down the inside. Is he going to take the lead from Lando Norris? Norris trying to hang it out around the outside. Is Verstappen going to have the momentum, or is it going to be Lando Norris that leads? It's Lando Norris leading in the McLaren. Verstappen second, Hamilton third, Alonso moving up into 4th place, Albon is 5th, and Zhou Guanyu in the Williams is in P6. And I think he's going to be pretty pleased with being in that position right now. Norris leading the way. Right, over to our POV at the start. It's lights out and away we go, and that's a very decent start there. Zhou Guanyu, quite attacky there almost. We've got a Mercedes trying to go down the inside, and we've got Vettel, sorry, on the outside. I had to try and go through them both. I thought that was a Red Bull that was trying to make his way through. It might have just been Vettel, but Vettel's having a look down the inside there. I've given him room, but we're trying to attack Zhou Guanyu for P6, and Sebastian Vettel is making himself mighty in my mirrors. He's on the soft tyres, so he's going to want to attack early. But so do I. I do not want to be held up for too long by Zhou Guanyu. Otherwise, getting after some of the front runners might end up being a bit difficult later on. But for now, we are charging down, trying to get past the Williams. But we're a little bit stuck for now, so it's going to have to be a case of maybe waiting for DRS and then having a go that way. Although I'll say this, Alex Albon isn't exactly getting away from Zhou Guanyu. He's holding on quite nicely to the Alpine, so I tell you what, he's looking quite quick early on. Vettel still right up my rear, as is Mercedes George Russell. And on lap 3 then, are we going to be able to get past Zhou here? No, he covers that one off. Zhou Guanyu not letting me get through there easily. And we have to wait it out just a little bit longer. Patience is starting to run out here because I can see some of the other drivers getting clear. There's Zhou Guanyu, there I am. And now we're riding back on board with my POV. It's lap 6 and Albon has got a bit of a gap to Zhou Guanyu now. And I'm going to take a last minute dive up the inside there. And before he can even think of covering, we've gone down the inside and taken P6. And that was a move that needed to happen. Here's a replay from the TV cam, just down the inside. Last minute outbraking manoeuvre. And we move up into P6. Right, Fernando Alonso. He's pitting very early and taking medium tyres from there. So Alonso's going to be 2 stopping in this race. I'm not quite sure what some of the strategies McLaren have been holding this year, but it's certainly not doing them too many favours. Right, now we're watching him on the back of Nicholas Latifi in the Alpine, in the second Alpine, who's not really having a strong showing here at all. Here comes Fernando Alonso round the outside. That is one of the easiest overtakes he'll make. Right, next up, he's having a go at Sergio Perez and getting quite aggressive in doing so. Banging wheels and trying to sweep round the outside. Alonso is through. That move is done. Fernando right now really making a go of it as he tries to go for the AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda tries to defend. Alonso's forced in very tight and he's not able to get it done. And this is going to put Sergio Perez right on the back of Fernando, but he's not able to do anything there as Fernando gets ready to have another go at Tsunoda. This time he's got more momentum. Can he get it done? Going to the outside line. He's going to sweep round the outside of the AlphaTauri, and that is Fernando Alonso past him. Right, now we're trying to keep up with Alex Albon. We have gained on him, but the problem is George Russell is right with me now, and he's waiting to punish any mistake I make while trying to battle Albon. So if I go 1 foot wrong, that is where George Russell is going to be like, you know what, thank you very much, I will just relieve you of that. Here comes Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly. He is making his intentions in this race very clear. His intentions are to make his way forwards. Right, it's time for our pit stop now. Albon in, myself in. It's a battle for the team crews now. Can my team get me out quicker than Alpine can get Albon out onto the hard tyres? And unfortunately we are just behind Alex Albon. So they haven't quite done the job there. It is one for me to do on the track. As Carlos Sainz comes out ahead of us. He's on a different strategy too. He is on the medium tyres. We've given Albon a little love tap there. Luckily it's not done any damage.
Still looking good.
And I clicked vehicle condition just to make sure it hasn't done any damage. The last thing we need to take right now is damage. And Zhou Guanyu has come out quite a way behind us. And now we're once again chasing Alex Albon, trying to get past the Alpine. Meanwhile, here's Fernando Alonso on Oscar Piastri, who is still running out there at the moment. And Oscar trying to make it very difficult for Fernando Alonso to get by. But Alonso is finding his way through. Piastri still trying to hold on though. Oscar doing a great job of holding on, but Fernando's gone round the outside and got that place. Right now we're right up the rear of Alex Albon, where we have been for a while now, and I'm trying to find a way through, but a way through just isn't appearing until we get to our favourite dive bomb spot, and we go down the inside of Alex Albon and complete that move for what is at the moment P8, but what is effectively P4. And Albon's now come back at me. Albon's gone down the inside, and I've been squeezed towards the wall there. I was very much caught napping. And Alex Albon taking that place back. And now the hunter becomes the hunted, becomes the hunter again. As we try and chase down Alex Albon.
We have a severe engine issue. Find a safe space to retire or return to the pits.
But unfortunately the hunt ends there. It is another mechanical failure for us. What rotten luck here at Singapore. We were on for a top 5 finish potentially, and our engine once again letting us down. Unbelievable.
A beautiful performance from McLaren today. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race for the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on the top step of the podium. So let's review the drivers.
It's a win then for Lando Norris here at the Singapore Grand Prix. Max Verstappen finishes second, Lewis Hamilton gets third, George Russell gets fourth, and Fernando Alonso on that radical two-stop strategy, finding his way back up to P5 again and setting the fastest lap in doing so. Albon is 6th, Sainz is 7th, then it's Magnussen, Zhou and Leclerc from the back row up into P10 by the end, and it's a single point for the Ferrari driver. So the championship contenders not really scoring massively here. In fact, the only one that's sort of in the hunt, which is Verstappen, is the one who scored the strongest here. But Alonso's gap is now 13 points, or 15 points should I say, to Charles Leclerc. 21 points to Carlos Sainz and 41 points to Max Verstappen. Max just about bringing himself back into play here. And Lando Norris only 48 points off. I tell you what, if he has a few stronger races, could Lando have something to say in this championship? We got 3 races to go now, and this could go either way. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this unfolds. But for us, we're sitting in P8, and our engine issues here have effectively cost us any realistic chance of going after Russell and Hamilton ahead of us. And Albon has now closed the gap to us. Alpine are just gently nudging their way towards us again after that. So we need a big result in Austin. We need to do well there and try and end the last 3 races on the highest note possible. Thank you so much for watching this installment of Career Mode. Don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. And until the next time, TTFN guys, ta-ta for now. Hoping for better next time out.